Welcome back to Advent of Code in Random Programming Languages, day number 5. Almost halfway through this year since there's only 12 days. Tomorrow I guess will be the halfway point, but let's get started immediately. We are going to get a language. Let's see what's available. So we still have C, of course. Still have Holy C, 2 N's. Still have Ada, Pascal, Mojo. I want to see what Mojo is about at some point, so hopefully I get that. But we'll see. I did remove C#. Oh, I did not remove C#. There we go. We're going to remove C# since it is done. Odin is also gone. Yep, that was the day before. All right, and we are in day 5. Let's roll our language. We got Go. Okay, that's pretty doable. We can definitely do Go. So let's Go. I assume the package is just Go. And we can head into day 5. And here we can do input, test input, part1.go, part2.go. All right. And my Go LSP is completely broken, apparently. All right. Well, we're just going to ignore that for now, and we're going to figure out how to open a file in Go. So I have programmed a little bit of Go. I wrote a web backend in it at one point, but I really haven't done that much serious work in it. It's a C-like language though, so it should be pretty reasonable. And why do I have literally no highlighting at all? That's a little bit not ideal. Of course, optional semicolons, unquoted, these. And this is a pretty normal syntax. So alright, it's also inserting tabs instead of spaces. Alright, I don't know what's going on with this, but I'm going to quickly fix this real quick. We're going to go into my dot files a little. Let's go into NeoVim, let's find lsp config, and let's just turn off go pls for now. Go lsp off, push that, go to my dot files, update NeoVim, and rebuild. Probably shouldn't type my password on video in case I accidentally do something stupid, but I mean, whatever, I can move it off or whatever. Obviously didn't do anything stupid there, but... Or I could just have a root shell open in a floating window. Probably what I should do. Oh, this is going to take a second because Nix is like the slowest package manager of all time. Sadly. I mean, testing out individual packages and stuff, very fast, but evaluating my system config, very, very slow. So, a little bit sad. I could Nix run my NeoVim from GitHub. It wouldn't be a terrible idea. But it's almost done at this point, so no point in worrying about it. And it might flicker or something when the DE updates. Hopefully it doesn't end my recording or something. Obviously that would not be ideal. Yeah. Never mind. It's not almost done, apparently. It takes literally forever. Well, in the meantime, let's read the problem. So we have our lovely problem, day 5. As the forklifts break through the wall, the elves are delighted to discover that there was a cafeteria on the other side after all. Okay, they were right. You can hear a commotion coming from the kitchen. At this rate, we won't have any time left to put the wreaths up in the dining hall, resolute in your quest to investigate. Okay, apparently, we have... Okay, lovely. So now we don't have LSP. Let's see, if I remove all of the tabs from this file, can I make them all spaces? Apparently not. No, it really likes tabs. Okay, that's fine. If they want to make that their formatting, then I'm not that mad about it. I would just prefer not having that. Let's read the rest of the problem. If only we hadn't switched to the new inventory management system right before Christmas, another elf explains. You ask what's going on. The elves in the kitchen explain the situation. Because of their complicated new inventory management system, they can't figure out which of their ingredients are fresh and which are spoiled. When you ask how it works, they give you a copy of their database, your puzzle input. The database operates on ingredient IDs. It consists of a list of fresh ingredient ID ranges, a blank line, and a list of available ingredient IDs. For example, that. The fresh ID ranges are inclusive. The range 3 to 5 means the ingredient IDs 3, 4, and 5 are all fresh. The ranges can also overlap. An ingredient ID is fresh if it is in any range. The elves are trying to determine which of the available ingredient IDs are fresh. In this example, this is done as follows. Okay, so I have a really funny solution for this. Okay, it's not gonna work. These numbers are slightly too large for that. I was just gonna make an array that's long enough to hold all of these values and then just mark all of them. I mean, probably we could still do that. Let's see, how much, well, especially if we calculate the minimum one, since they're all huge. Maybe it's doable. Let's try to think of something else, though. Let's try to think of something nicer than that. So, oh, also we should make sure that my Go works, but I'm pretty sure I can just go run part1.go. Or is it? Okay, well, let's go hello world. So I don't really want to mod init or whatever. Can you run a single file? Go run single file. Can be daunting. Very easy way to run a single file. So you say, but I don't see that necessarily working. But let's try this. Okay, never mind. This does work. This apparently doesn't work, though. what's going on with that? Okay, lovely. And we can use the test input at first. Lovely, okay. So what we could do, I mean, the huge memory array solution is probably the fastest one, right? Because it's kind of like an O of n solution on just the number of things. That is very nice. I'm gonna close this light mode page. So, I mean, of course we could check like n, like an O of n times n solution where we check for each number at the bottom, we go through each range and we go, is it in this range? Is it in this range? Is it in this range? Blah, blah, blah. My theory for part 2 is that part 2 is going to be overlaps. And in that sense, I mean, I have no idea yet, but that's going by how these problems work. I think that's a pretty safe bet, as if two ranges overlap, like 16 to 20 and 12 to 18, the overlap area becomes spoiled again or something like that. I don't know exactly, but it's some kind of special case on that. That would be my guess. So let's try to do something really stupid. So let's see. Go allocate array. No. I want to create memory allocation in Go. The new and the make function. Okay. Yeah, so s equals make byte a lot. This is probably what we want. Where is s declared, by the way? Okay, so we have var array, which is of type byte. And we don't know how big it is. No idea how big it is. I'm not sure if we need unsafe to do this. Maybe so. Not totally sure about this. But let's go. So body equals that. Who cares about the error? Actually doesn't matter. Okay, do we have to... What, can you do like underscore equals error? Is that a valid statement? To discard something? Yes, that is. So we'll discard this like that. Yeah, sure. We'll re-get all of our beautiful new line. You know, all the beautiful tabs that they want. Very well. So we do that. Now we need to calculate the minimum of all the ranges. So first we're going to body. So okay, let's see. Go string methods. So split. So we are going to so I'm guessing you can body dot split and then say on \n. Okay. And this is going to be lines colon equals that. and then we're gonna fmt dot print line lines. Oh, body is, so it's string. What was that we had before? Yeah, string. Undefined split. Oh, do I have to import string? Or something? Where's an example of these? Oh, there's example on all of these. There we go. Yes, you had to import strings. And it is just dot split that. Type string has no field. Okay, no, never mind. Strings dot split. There we go. So now we have all of these lovely fellows. And let's see, how do we get... So we need to get the ones that split by dash. Does it return anything? It just returns the strings. So let's do for line in lines. All right, that is a go for loop. I'm sure this is... They have a standard, they have a for. No, their range is a little bit different. Interesting, so they have the range for loop. The range function along with for is the way to go. It makes code much simpler. So for line, comma, interesting. I mean, okay. Or. All right. So that does give me the line. It's what I want. So let's do if. So let's do bounds equals. No. We have to put them in a separate thing first, and then. No, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So bounds is gonna equal. bounds is going to be strings dot split string body dash, and so what happens if you split on, if S does not contain sep and sep is not empty, split returns a slice of length 1 whose only element is S. So if bounds dot, let's see, go array size, I know, I'm just talking about a dynamic array. Len. Using the len method, okay. If len of bounds is less than 2, we break. Print line I line. What? Five, 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 what? How is it 5? Oh. There we go. So that works. So we need to calculate the min of these, and also we'll save what I is when we're here. So I mean, sure, we don't use I, but can we do this? So we need to have I for that to work. Okay. Yeah, the language is a little bit finicky and slightly overcomplicated, I would say. Compared to C++, much simpler, which I know is what this language was made to replace. Compared to C, a lot more complicated. Just in like, I mean, obviously it's not easy to program things in C, but C has many fewer rules and constructs than this language. I can already tell that. I do like the multiple return types though. I think that's something that if C had, it would be a significantly better language. I think that's pretty much one of the only things that C is missing, is syntactically multiple return types. Of course, you can always return a struct, which many things do, but it takes a fair amount of boilerplate. Multiple return types would fix quite a few things. But besides that, like the requirements to force use variables and keep track of imports and stuff, I mean, I'm fine with those being compiler warnings, but like, why is that a compilation error? That's a little bit stupid. Zig has the same problem, I know. I want to use Zig again though. We'll see if we get it later. And it's just harder to do very simple things that I want to do, I guess. But we are so far doing pretty well. So we need to calculate what the min is amongst all of these things. So let's see, we're only going to look at the left-hand side. So bounds at 0. So if bounds at 0, so we're going to have a thing that's like max equals 0, or like range min equals how do we get in max in Go? You need to include math, and then you need to do math dot max int. So I'm sorry, there's no like long type or anything, right? No, int32. Okay, we'll see. I mean, I mean, all of these pretty easily fit in an int, right? I'm not crazy. Yeah, all of these fit in a 32 int very easily. But we'll see. So if bounds at 0 is less than range min, then we will say that the range min equals bounds at 0. And that is that. Now, and also we'll always set like range line end is going to be 0, and we're also going to say, before we break here, we'll say range line end equals I. And then of course we have to use print line range line end invalid operation mismatch type string and int. Okay, so we have to int cast this. Int parse go strconv. Okay. And we'll say strconv.a2i that thing go, and this equals alright, let's value is strconv a2i bounds at 0, and we'll just replace this with value and this with value. Returns 2 values, of course it does. Error, and we'll discard error. Four. That sounds right. The other thing I want to print is range min. 3, 4, which is correct if I'm not mistaken. 3 is the min here, and 4 is the last line. Excellent. Okay, so we also want to max. So range max equals math dot min int, and we'll replace this with lower, and we'll make this upper. So if upper is greater than range max, then range max equals upper. do that. Okay, awesome. So 3 to 16 with a 4. That's wrong. That's because we need to look at 1. 3 to 20 with 4. Yep, okay, that's correct. So now that we looped over those and calculated that, which did unfortunately take, well, it took 1 loop. But this is actually not the super fastest solution that I was hoping. But we'll keep going with it. I think it's kind of a fun solution, so we will keep working with it. And we are going to, it's funny that array is unused, but Go doesn't care about that apparently. It only cares about local variables being unused, even though those can be super easily optimized out. I mean, I think it's assuming that if you have an unused variable, it's an error, but I don't know, sometimes you're just working on stuff. Like, just have it in like the release build or whatever. Okay. Next up, we are assigning, so we're going to assign array to this, where's like the memory allocation test. So here we're going to assign array to make. Okay, wait, isn't make on the stack though? Go make function. Allocate and initialize an object of type slice mapper chen. No, it just returns you the actual type instead of. Okay, I mean we'll give it a shot. So we're going to make an array of bytes of size, I mean theirs ends in 69, so I guess alignment doesn't matter. Sure. We're going to make it whatever range max minus range min is. So whatever this size is how much space we're going to allocate. And then we're going to subtract range min from every. Okay. And if we print the len of array at the end, it is 17. 3, 4, 5. That is wrong though, because we need to be inclusive at the end, right? So we need this plus 1. Because like 1 to 1 should still have size 1, not size 0. Yeah. Okay, if we run this on the real input, does it explode? That's the next question. It does. Len out of range. Make slice. Okay, what about instead of make if we call new? Len out of range. Why? Yeah, it's just too much. No, I don't want to actually make. So go make slice. Okay. Go mmap. Here we go. Where is this? I know there's like sysmap. Go sys.mmap or whatever. I don't want a package for this. I know you can just actually call this. It's somewhere in here. Import OS. I thought you could like Okay. Allocate large memory block, go. No more than 32,768 bytes are predefined. 32,768. So okay, just print them actually subtracted from each other and swap min and max. What's I didn't actually swap them apparently. Okay, that is a pretty big number. This is more than that many bytes. True. But I mean, I have this much memory, right? Or am I crazy? Like, this is, let's see, bytes to megabytes. No, okay, it's a lot of megabytes. Gigabyte? Okay, I don't have that much memory. Alright, correction. This strategy doesn't work. Oh, I really thought I could get away with that. Okay. That would have been a fun solution. Okay, so let's change it around a little bit. So we still want lines and for line and I and whatever. And probably we want bounds like this. And the only thing is we don't care about the min and max or whatever. Right. Range, line, end. I think that's a fine thing. And math and strconv aren't used. Strconv will be used though. Let's just strconv. Well, I don't know. $200? Hello? Oh, yeah, because it's the real input, so it's 200. Test input is still going to be 4. All right, so let's go back to the drawing board on the problem. Because that was my initial solution plan and it was a little bit dumb. Okay, let's do the other solution then, which is that you build some kind of data structure of these, like a bunch of number pairs in an array. And then you loop through each of them and you compare each number to see if it's within them or without each of them. And you just do it for each one. It's naive, it's slow. It's totally fine though. It's probably faster than what I was just doing, to be honest. Well, definitely faster than getting 5,000 gigabytes of RAM. I was hoping I could get away with it. That kind of sad. But these problems are kind of designed to stop you from doing solutions like that are like huge memory maps and things like that. Okay, so let's create, instead of an array of bytes, let's create our new data structure, which is going to be, let's see, go struct. So structs in Go. So let's declare a type range struct, Okay, go range. Can you actually store a range in something? No, range is like a special keyword function. So type, what do they call it in the puzzle? ID ranges. Ingredient range. My double typing is seriously messing me up. But here's some struct, and we'll have a lower, which will be an int, and an upper, which will be an int. Is there long, by the way? That's not what it is. Go number types. Okay, that is not all of the types. Where's just like data types in Go? Okay, they're just called like that. So if I do uint, okay, so I could do uint, I could do uint64. Let's make them both uint64, that's fine. Or I guess just uint. It says it contains 32 or 64. I assume it uses register size. So that's the lower and that's the upper in this structure. And then we're just gonna have an array of, so ranges. So var ranges. Var ranges, which is an array of ingredient range type. Right, and we're just gonna say and actually let's make it a dynamic array. So go dynamic array. I'm sure there's something like this. Dynamically sized array in Golang. You should use the append function. It's a slice, you can think of it as a dynamic array. Okay, cool. So this is a dynamic array, and each time we're going to say lower equals, this is where we need the stir conf back, dot a to I, bounds at 0, and bounds at 1 is gonna assign to upper. What am I doing? There we go. So declare but not used, one variable, but stirconf.a2i returns 2 values. Of course, this returns an error, which we will discard. Awesome. So then we will say so how about the struct? It's like an anonymous struct. How about the new keyword? New. Okay, so we can say var what is going on here? So I guess append will work. Yeah, let's just do append. So let's do ranges.append. So, and it's going to append lower upper. This is the super naive. Okay, that doesn't work. Go append. I don't want a tour of Go. So we actually call append. What? Why is that one word? Isn't dot a word separator, or am I crazy? Append onto ranges lower upper as a so structure. Okay, go append struct. Slice of structs. There we go. So we have a slice of person. Okay, so you just have to alias it with the type. Oh, also I should clearly rename it like this, of course. Obviously. Append value ingredient range. Value of type ingredient range is not used. Cannot use lower variable as uint value in struct literal. Why not? Also, do I have to do that? No. Okay, fine. What if they're of type int? 10. No, not of type 10. So append value is not used. Oh, so I would say ranges equals that. Yes, I would. Okay. That seems reasonable. So now if we print ranges, yeah, okay. And I love that their print statement actually prints stuff. That's pretty nice. So now we're going to for I comma, so how do I loop from a later one? I mean, I guess I can use a standard for loop. So for I equals range line end plus 2, I less than len of lines, I plus plus, and of course they're not going to have the plus plus operator because they're evil. Trust, they won't. Oh my god, they have the plus plus operator. Okay, never mind, I love this language. Best language since C. Straight up. Didn't remove the plus plus operator. Absolute goats. I mean, people are always complaining like, oh, the plus plus operator can be confusing and create weird bugs because it's weird and confusing and has weird precedence orders. Okay, remove prefix append permanently. I don't know if they've done that, but just get rid of prefix append completely, which they did. Very good. Just get rid of prefix append, only have postfix append, and then it does the same thing as the assembly instruction inc. There is an x86 assembly instruction called inc, which is just increment. And that's it. And it's like, increment this thing. And just have that. Of course, it still needs some order of operations, but you just set it somewhere and it's no different than any other operation. It's just an increment operator. It's not that crazy. It's a fairly common operation, and it's just like very clear. I don't know. It very upsets me when languages get rid of it for semantic dumb reasons. Like, pretty much no one actually cares, except for people who think that they care, but it doesn't matter. Stir convert. Okay, so we're doing pretty good on this. We're just going to say on each of these value, so value equals stir convert dot a to I of lines at I, and then let's print I comma value, and we don't need to print I anymore. So one variable, but a2i returns 2, of course. No. Go is obviously not a language that's designed to just mess around and build things in, to be honest. It just doesn't feel like it's really designed for that. So 5, 8, 11, 17, 32, and 0. So the last line being 0 tells me that it's just like an empty, like 32 is the last one, right? Yeah, so I'm guessing that's just, actually there is some kind of error value. Parsing blank invalid syntax, yes. So if error break, can we just do that? Bro, are you kidding? You had to say does not equal nil? That's insane, bro. Whatever. Like, there are just these simple things that everybody would understand, but sure. Sure. I guess it makes it easy if you're, like, brand new and you don't understand what nil is or something. But the idea that nil is falsy is incredibly obvious and I think logical. And should probably be in every language. Okay, so we clearly have this working. And what are we actually counting? We are counting the ingredient IDs that are fresh. So we have the value. Then on each value, so we don't have to print this anymore. So for each for r, for k comma r colon equals ranges. God, this is awful. The range keyword is really throwing me off. We are going to check if value is less than range. Okay, we also need some kind of sum here. So answer is 0. And if value is less than range dot upper and value is greater than range dot lower, we will answer plus plus. Did I put any semicolons in here? I did put a bunch of semicolons in here. That's kind of funny. Obviously in the for loop, but I assume those are actually mandatory. Like always, in optional semicolon languages, I just write semicolons everywhere because I'm so used to it. So answer plus plus and break. Unexpected keyword range expected expression. What did I do differently than before? How is this different than this? Oh, this should be R dot upper R dot lower. FMT imported not used, K not used. I really wish I could just discard K. But it always wants the first variable to be an index variable, which is dumb, so we'll just assign it to nothing, and then, yeah. So fmt dot print line answer 2. That is wrong. Dot print line value in there. So they think that 11, 17, where is 2 coming from? Oh, 2 is the final answer. So they didn't see that 5 was fresh. Probably it's because I need to be inclusive. What? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I just wasn't inclusive for some reason. Of course, it's obviously inclusive. So that's the obvious naive solution. I think pretty clearly this will work for part 1. Let's run it and test. 639, 639. That's not the right answer. My answer is too low. Really, 639. Wrong answer. Okay, I'm actually not sure. What am I doing wrong? So let's print out the, so on every one, let's print out stuff. So let's fmt.println the value and the R on each one that fails, or on each one that works. So my answer was too low, which means that I'm missing some. So actually I should look at ones that don't work, I guess. I don't know. Else print line value. Oh, but don't print the value like 20 billion times, right? Oh, I'm doing something wrong with this, aren't I? Let's see, I break out of that and then I go to the next number. Maybe not. Let's see. Am I like skipping the first one or something? Oh, stop printing that. This is easier to debug on the test. Yeah, I'm skipping the first one. Classic. Okay. So now if I switch this back to the real input, we go 18 down, 640, how about that? Okay, excellent. Of course it was off by 1 error. Classic computer science disaster. Let's get rid of my debug prints. That's fine, this still works. Excellent, we're gonna write this to part2.go. And once again, I'm being dumb. There we go. All right, let's see what part 2 is. The elves start bringing their spoiled inventory into the trash chute at the back of the kitchen. So that they can stop bugging you when they get new inventory, the elves would like to know all of the IDs that the fresh ingredient ID ranges consider to be fresh. An ingredient ID is still considered fresh if it is in any range. Now the second section of the database, the available ingredient IDs, is irrelevant. Here are the fresh ingredient ID ranges from the above example. The ingredient IDs that these ranges consider to be fresh are 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So in this example, the fresh ingredient ID ranges to consider a total of 14 ingredient IDs to be fresh. Okay, so you just calculate every single fresh ingredient. So it is to do with the overlaps, but not in the same way. So we're going to remove this. Well, okay. So there's two different solutions. I'm going to comment this out for now. But there's two different solutions here. So there's the solution I haven't thought of yet, which actually calculates this based on thinking about the overlaps. And then there's the solution, which is you go from every single value from the minimum to the maximum, like I was calculating initially, and you just calculate over every single one of those and figure out if you have if you have the correct answer or not. That's a little bit of a cursed solution, but we could do it. Like literally just count every single number in the same algorithm as before. I don't know how you would solve it otherwise. I'm sure there is something that I'm missing. So let's see. So you have a bunch of ranges, and you can work as you're reading in the ranges if you want to, of course, to build something. Now, I guess each time you add a range, you can check, is the bottom of this range less than the max of another range? And if it is, you just set it to the top of that range, and then you just read each range and add all the numbers from each range. That would be possible, and there's the edge case that one range could be totally inclusive within another. Right, so 10 to 14, there's no example in the test input, but you could have like 12 to 13 in this, and it would be totally inclusive within 10 to 14. So it would just get discarded completely. Well, if we think about this, we'd input 3 to 5, that would be fine. Then we'd put in 10 to 14, that would be fine. Then we'd put in 16 to 20, that would also be fine. Then we'd go to put in 12 to 18, but we would say 12 is less than 14, is less than 14, which we already had covered. So, see, the problem is we need to make sure that this isn't less than this. If this is less than this and this, then we have to go back and delete this one or replace it with this one. I think that works. It's going to be kind of confusing though, right? But I think that is maybe the best solution here algorithmically. Right, like you don't have to, like you only have to loop through each input one time, which is really efficient. So, in theory, this is a very good solution. Let's play with it. Let's at least give it a mess around, right? So, we're going to calculate the lower and the upper. And then before we append, so we're going to be like, who cares about appending right now? Before we append, we are going to go for R, for K, comma, R, colon equals range of ranges. So for each range in the ranges, I guess first it is an edge case for the first one. So we do have to say like if len of ranges is 0, we're going to append a range and then break. Or continue, not break. We can also get rid of range line end. Nobody cares about it anymore. In the other case, we're going to loop through all the range and ranges, or the R's in ranges. And what can we do with that? So I was just thinking this whole thing out, but it's kind of complicated to hold in my brain. Let's try to just write things down and work through it, because I'm pretty confident the solution works at some point. There's just a lot of edge cases and logic bugs that could appear in it, so I have to be pretty careful. So when we add a new range, we need to make sure that the minimum of this range is not less than the maximum of any other range. So we have to say if the current value, if the current lower, if lower is less than range than r dot lower or r dot upper, then we're in one case. Else, we're in a good case. In this case, we don't care about that anymore. Or I guess at the end of this we continue, or we even break at the end of this. I don't know. Yeah, I'd say we continue, because we could still have to input. So like, let's say we're inputting this one. We have to be like, okay, is this less than this? Even if it is, and we set it to 1 higher than that, then we have to check the next one still. And then at the very end, after we go through all of those, then we insert, and we modify lower and upper in this loop to be a new range that will not overlap with any other range. And then at the end, we just loop over all the ranges or we just add all of the ranges together, right? We just loop over each range and add its difference plus 1, because it's inclusive. And then we'll be good. Okay. Potentially working. We will see. But this does want to continue. And then we don't need to wrap this in elf. I don't want to, or else I just don't want to have too much parenthesis hell in here. So, or indent hell, whatever. If lower is less than r dot upper, the other case is if upper is greater than r dot lower. Right, that's the other case that we need to look at. And then we do something or other and we continue. And these will never overlap, right? So wait, so if, wait, no. Okay, so in this case, lower doesn't have to be changed. So yeah, then we will look at upper. And then if this is the case, upper doesn't need to be changed either for this loop, and we can just continue and loop around. Right, I think that's fine. For this value. So and okay, I guess we should check So if lower is less than r dot upper, and upper, no, that doesn't tell us if it's included inside. Inclusive inside means upper is less than upper. Okay, wait. There's a bunch of cases. I need to think about this better. Let me pull up another. Yeah, let's do it like. What am I doing? There we go. So let's do a little scratch here. Edit new buffer. So there's a few cases. We have the case where we have like, let's do 10 to 20, right? Then we could also have 1 to 5. We could also have 25 to 30. We could also have 15 to 18. We could have 5 to 15. And we could have 16 to 30. Right. So let's go through all of these cases. So in this case, lower is less than upper, but upper is also less than lower. In this case, we are good. Continue. Right, we don't change lower or upper, and we just continue. Because we're just outside of that range. Now, the else case of this is that upper is not less than r dot lower, which means I mean, this I was trying to test for this case, but that case, no, don't we test this case down here though? And this is where we solve this? I don't know if this even makes sense as a separate thing. I don't know, let's move on though. Because this is all of the cases as far as I'm aware. I might be forgetting one. But this is basically all the cases. So then we have 25 to 30. So certainly this is true, right? If upper is less than lower and lower is lower than upper. I mean, in general, if upper is less than lower, we continue, right? Like, that's just true. If upper is less than lower, we continue. And if lower is greater than r dot upper, we also continue. Right, that's probably the easiest way to put those. So, and we could even OR these since they're... We continue in both of those cases. That is just any case where the ranges don't intersect at all. Lower is greater than r dot upper means, yeah, it's completely out of that range. Next up, 25 to 30. This is completely above. This gets caught by this case. 15 to 18. So in the 15 to 18 case, lower, so if lower is greater than r dot lower and upper is less than r dot upper, break outer. Let's see, go labeled loops. I'm guessing you can do labels. What? Oh. Yeah. So we would say ranges label or outer and break outer, or continue outer, we break out of this whole thing. There we go. So yeah, if a range is fully included in another range, ignore it. Next, so this is the case where lower is less than r dot lower and upper is greater than r dot lower. And this is an overlap. And in this case, upper greater than r dot lower. Yes. So in this case, upper is one of these is implicit though, right? Upper is greater than r dot lower. Yes, is implicitly guaranteed. Well, some of these should be equal to as well. I'll figure that out in a second. We don't want overlap of those though, right? Yeah, so if it's equal, that's a problem. Same here, even if it's equal, less than or equal to, like greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, even if they're the exact same range, the second one should just be thrown out. Here, if it's less than or equal to like this, so if lower is less than r dot lower, fully lower, and upper is greater than or equal to r dot lower, in this case, and I think this is implicit, I think we can remove this like that, but I'm not positive yet, so we'll leave it in for now. I'll get the right answer and then see if it still does this. So in this case, we want to reassign upper. So we want to say upper equals, and sorry, this is this case. So in this case, we want to say upper equals r dot lower minus 1. Right. True. Because then this will no longer be true. And we fixed that problem. Then, if upper is greater than r dot upper, so this case that, or no, not this case, the case that we guarantee by not passing this, right? Or something, no, that's not quite right. Let's just look at this. So 16, lower, so upper is higher than the max upper, and lower is less than or equal to upper. And in this case, lower equals r dot upper plus 1. Then if you made it through all of that and you didn't get broken, like this, then you are going to set ranges equal to append ranges ingredient range with lower and upper. And then we're just gonna fmt.print line ranges for now. Hopefully this is test input. Okay, declared but not used I and K. Bro, no one cares. Lol. Cannot convert 0 to type ingredient range. And line 31. Cannot convert 0 untyped int constant to type. Oh. Okay. But with test input, please. So, what we got is, and let's see, 3 to 5, 10 to 14, 16 to 20, and 15 to 15, which is exactly what we would want. There aren't enough edge cases represented, so let's try mine. This boy right here. Let's go and test input, and let's replace it with my special test. CG. There we go. Let's see. So we got 10 to 20, 1 to 5, 25 to 30. Correct. Then what? Okay, 25 to 30. I got 6 to 9, 21 to 24, and 16 to 30. I'm sorry, that is definitely wrong. What? So 1 to 5, 25 to 30. Also, it's straight up missing one. Oh, because 1 is fully inclusive. That one actually worked. The 5 to 15 actually, or 15 to 18 actually got removed. Oh wait, no, wait. I'm crazy. It's correct. I'm thinking like this sucks. No, it's right. 5 to 15 gets turned into 6 to 9 because it fills in the gap between 1 to 5 and 10 to 20. And then 16 to 30 gets truncated to 21 on one side. Then from 21 on the other side, 30 gets truncated to 24 because 25 is there. Okay, wait, this actually works. All right, let's bring back original test inputs. Let's put in the real inputs, or let's go back to the test input. We want to make sure that we can count it correctly. So at the end, so we have this. So instead of fmt print line, we're going to go. Going to have answer is 0, and for I r colon equals ranges. We don't even need to append a structure, actually, right? Or am I crazy? Oh yeah, we do because we look through it on subsequent searches. But I mean, we can just build this as we don't need to loop over it again. We can just build this as we go. We can say answer equals 0 up here. And here we can say answer plus equals upper minus lower plus 1. And then fmt dot print line answer. Whoops. 11. Total of 14. So 3 to 5 is 3, 4, 5. 10 to 14 is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 16 to 20, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, plus 15, that's 14. So I actually count 14 for my ranges. I'm counting wrong. Plus 2 because it's doubly inclusive. Yes, that's correct. All right, let's plug in the full input. I'm definitely terrified of an edge case I didn't think of, but let's try to put this in. 7, 3, 8, 4402. Answer is too low. That's definitely not good. So, yeah. Because I can't actually debug this. And it's not what it was the last time where I just skipped the first one or something stupid like that. It's obviously not that. Yeah, what's going on with this right now? I'm still counting wrong. 15, 15 should only count as 1, but it's counting as 3 in this case, or 2 actually. Which means that something else is miscounted to create that problem. So how do I how do I actually count a range correctly? So we could try this. Shut up. Just freaking cast it. Bro, what do you mean you cannot convert an untyped to bool value into an... Oh. Alright, fine, we'll be dumb. Question mark 1:0. That's right. Oh my god, there's no ternary expression. Screw you. I don't know. So 5 minus 3 is 2, but the actual range is 3. 14 minus 10 is 4, but the actual range is 5. That makes 3 plus 5 is 8. 20 minus 16 is... Oh, I'm so dumb. I am actually off by 1, bro. It is literally just this. It's literally that. I'm literally off by 1. Are you kidding? But actually, I think I'm off by more than 1. Why does it start with a 0? Oh. Was my number truncated before? That number's really big. That answer is still too low. Wait, seriously? That's a really big number. Okay, well that's not the problem. I am actually counting it right now though, right? Yeah. And in... Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's see. Let's put a little thing here. I don't know. I guess these are exclusive cases. I'm not sure if that should matter. Do I get a different answer in that case? I guess on the big one, I mean. That ended in 707. That ended in 707 as well. Yeah, this doesn't matter, which is, I thought as much. Really, I think this is right, though. This always happens on Advent of Code for me. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, but I've run into some weird edge case that I can't think of. That's just completely ruining, and there's too much data for me to properly debug it, I think. Like, I'm not about to sit here and step through every single one of the 1,201 numbers here, or however many. There's like 200 ranges, right? I'm not about to go step through 200 iterations. I mean, it's not even just 200, it's like n log n or whatever, right? Yeah. I'm not about to sit through like n log n iterations of 200 to try to debug this. Yeah, I actually don't know. That kind of sucks. But let's think about it more. So what cases have we not considered? Let's just print upper or lower comma upper comma r dot lower comma r dot upper. Let's not print these ranges. Okay. Yeah, this is completely undebuggable. Okay, well, let's see. Maybe it's an off by 1 on the less than or equal to or something like that. Like here, let's say fully inside. R dot lower comma upper comma r dot upper. I don't know. So I can't even tell what's less than what. Like, it's insane. 7 1 2 3 1 6 4 1 8 3 1. On the lower end we have 2 4 2 2 4 3 there. 2 4 3 2 1 6 2 4 2 8 3. Yeah, I mean that is fully contained. 1 5 3 7 7 1 5 3 7 7 8 7 2 6 5 4 6 4 7 1 5 6 4 4 3 5 7 3 3 2 7 6. So there's two identical here, but it correctly said these are the same and removed one. Like, this is a problem. I'm failing because like, I'm just failing because the problem didn't describe every rule of the problem, right? Like, not every rule was well defined. Because I'm pretty confident I'm solving this within some set of the rules. 19 and 20. Yes, sure. No, in this case, I'm not off by 1 or something. I mean, I might be off by like a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to or something like that, right? So let's think about it a little bit. So the upper is fully less than lower, true. If the lower is fully greater than the upper, true. If the lower is greater than or equal to... Okay, well, let's just quickly do something that I think is really dumb. If upper is less than lower, print line or fmt.println wtf. No, that never happens, which is good. So yeah, I don't know. This is just like me. So if the lower is inside the lower and the upper is within the upper, I think this one works fully correct. I haven't seen a single mistake out of this one, which leaves the mistake down to this or an extra case I haven't considered. We've considered ones that are fully equivalent. Oh, I guess we haven't considered what happens. Okay, yeah, wait. Do we currently handle... This could be it. So let's say you have 10 to 20, and then you get 5 to 30. What happens? So you say if upper is less than lower, not true, or lower is greater than upper, not true. Okay. If lower is greater than or equal to lower, not true, short circuit. If lower is less than lower, and upper is greater than lower, true. So if lower is less than r dot lower, so 5 is less than 10, and upper is greater than or equal to lower, greater than 10, true. Upper equals lower minus 1. So this would set it to 05 to 09. And we just lost information about 21 through 30, which should be inclusive. So yes, this is a fail state. So the first thing we want to check if lower is less than... How are we going to handle this case? I guess we could append 2, but we'll figure that out. So if if lower is less than or equal, or we replace. Yeah, I remember I was thinking about replace like way back. I must have been thinking about this case and I forgot about it. So if lower is less than or equal to, or if lower is lower than r dot lower, and upper is greater than r dot upper, so the exact opposite of this case, in that case, this can be simplified by so much Boolean logic. I'm not going to worry about it. So in this case, we are going to continue outer. No, we're not going to continue outer. We are not going to continue outer. This is very problematic. This is actually very problematic because in this case, we can create both the lower and the upper, but the lower and the upper need to both be checked on the rest of the ranges. And right now we're only looping through a range, right? So maybe we should set a flag that's like This is ugly. This is so ugly. So we need to remove the middle. Oh, you know what? We could just say, we could keep track of ranges that we're counting twice, and then just whoop, like remove that range, that sub range. Okay. Okay. Yes, I guess it works. I don't really like it, but we could say, like in this case, answer minus equals minus equals the range that we're inclusive of. Now this fails if we're inclusive of a range multiple times, right? No, this is a bad way to do this. I'm not sure what the better way is though. So why is this so confusing, right? So what do we actually have to do in this case? Well, that's why it's confusing. I don't even know. So we have 5 to 9, and then we also have 21 to 30. We can figure out what this is from this pretty easily. From these two things pretty easily. We can figure out what these are. The problem is, so I say what we have to do is say, can we modify ranges as we're looping through it? Can we say range in ranges, but range lines, line in range lines? Can we like lines dot append? Can we say like lines dot append some sprintf type thing? The new ranges, because that's the only thing I can think of that would actually fix this, and then continue outer. Like, maybe it's possible. Certainly it's possible if we turn that into a regular for loop, right? Yeah, surely it's possible, actually. Why not? Why not? Of course it's possible. Lines dot append a lovely. So it's not even gonna be lines dot append. It's gonna be like the append keyword, or not keyword, but you get what I mean. Lines, and we're going to add a string, a format string. So go format string, the FMT package. Yes, sir. Is there a sprintf? I just saw sprintf. Yes, there is. Okay, so we are going to sprintf. Dude, why are they all capitalized? It's so ugly. It's like Windows code. It's like Win32 stuff. Like why did Google do that of all people? It's like yucky. So I'm guessing we can say %s dash or %d dash %d, and then fill it in with the lovely, the wonderful. This one is going to be lower to r dot lower -1, and this one is going to be upper to, or r dot upper plus 1 upper. fmt.sprintf. And then this also continues outer. Oh, this returns something. Different answer. This case should never get hidden here. But if we check, let's check this. So let's go test inputs and let's get rid of that. Not like that. Let's throw this in here. Right, this is the case we wanted to test. We got 11. That is super wrong. Oh, I just did part 1. Whoops. to 20. Okay, so this now has to turn into this. Okay, for I semicolon I less than len of lines. Every language that has these stupid iterators has the same problem every time. Where's line used? This is going to be lines at I. Undefined I. Are you kidding? It still says 10 to 20. Okay, what if we print out the line every time? fmt.print line lines at I. Line, we are in this case. This is where I should be using a debugger at this point. Hello? Like, is it just not, like, len of lines? 5. Okay, what's I? 1. And then it goes, oh, or less. And then it exits. Because if we print the len of lines up here, they'll see. It's 3. Wait, what? It's not even printing like any of them, bro. This sucks so much. Like, why? This is some stupid language slop. Like, hello, just work. It's not that crazy. Like, this shouldn't be that hard to work necessarily. Like, seriously? we're just gonna print the value of I on each one. 0, 1, 2. We're gonna print the len of lines. It short circuits, or it exits before it should. It's not actually evaluating this condition on every loop. The language is just freaking dysfunctional. Can I? Okay, here we go. How about we do this? Screw that. If I is less than the len of lines, break. I'll just implement for loop myself. That still doesn't work. Is this never getting executed? Where is it breaking out? It must be breaking here. But I'm not stupid, I'm inserting it like this. Fuck. Print lines. Print lines right now. What's going on? It's something stupid with sprintf. Just print lines. It's gotta be something dumb with print. Bro. That's what you call append? Oh my god. I want to append to the array, not to the... Oh. What? How is it? What? Why is that? What? How is this not default behavior? It's appending to the string at the end of lines instead of appending to the array of lines. What? What are you doing? Why is it even structured like that? What is going on? No, it's fine though, right? No, it's right. I can't even... Why are there two spaces there? So... print line bounds. 10:20, 5:30. Nothing. It's the stupid new line. It's the flipping new line. Oh my god. No, I'm really dumb actually. This whole thing is stupid. We don't break. We continue. Oh my god. Okay. And we got 26. Which is actually right. Okay. I would guess this still doesn't work though. No idea. Literally no idea, but my intuition is that this is wrong. Don't ask me why, but intuition says no on this one. Oh my god, we're free. That solution felt so jank. Uh, honestly, kind of yucky language, but you know what? That's kind of what Go's about. Go isn't supposed to be a nice language. It's supposed to be a productive language that gets work done, of course. I respect parts of it. I think I would still build a web backend in this language if I have to do a web backend this language, or like something else with an actual standard HTTP implementation. Or I'll just use libcurl and C. I don't know. But or I'll use C#. Honestly, C# was like a nicer language than this, but of course Go has the advantage that it actually produces native binaries fairly easily, and it runs across a lot of different systems and stuff. I mean, so does C#, but it doesn't run on a VM layer. It actually produces a native binary. It has a lot more. Honestly, the standard library is even better. It has like a freaking compiler in it. But yeah, not the worst, not the best. Yeah, it was a little bit yucky. Mostly my fault at the end for the stupid lines thing. I was going completely crazy. But obviously, I mean, even outside of my test case, the test input here, like I was inputting new ranges down here at the end. So like it obviously was not giving a crap because it was breaking out here before it would ever get to those. So just by switching this to a continue until we ran out of lines obviously fixes that problem. We get around, we read all of them. I'm really surprised that the skipping solution worked, but I mean, it's mathematically sound. Here, let's real quick, I'm pretty sure like this is implicit and this is implicit. Let's double check that. 3658. Yeah, so those are implicit cases. Even this, like, I mean, these aren't necessary. Like, I'm not sure that these have any implicitness. I think this one is actually completely like, that just happens every time if you get down here. Because if you have a normal range, you just break out up here. But I'm not that confident that I'm willing to take out. Well, I mean, I can just test it, right? That's a different solution, right? Yes. So it does matter. Interesting. There's probably something else Boolean-wise you can do to simplify this, or maybe some Go technique you could use to make this look less bad. But besides that, it's fine. I don't know. Yeah, boring language, good language. I don't know. It's a fine language. I like the dynamic arrays. I hate the error handling, or the forced variable usage. I know that's for error handling, to force you to use the error. This is my solution. Obviously, you would actually want to put if statements everywhere and handle all the errors, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, reasonable if you don't trust your engineers like Google. But, if you're like an individual or a small team, I'm not sure that I can recommend Go. But I think for big teams, like, yeah, it's kind of where it is. I don't really program with the idea of a big team in mind. It might also be why I don't like Zig very much. Maybe even Odin, I'm not sure. Odin's definitely built for like smaller teams though, but it takes a lot of methodology from Go. That's kind of like, I don't know. C feels like the ultimate hobbyist language to me. Rust a little bit as well, but C really just feels like the ultimate hobbyist language. It's just like so easy to iterate things and write things super duper fast and change things and modify things and do whatever the hell you want. You're just in full control all the time, which maybe on a team you want to place restrictions on that so people don't do stupid stuff, but when you're working on your own, I think it's very powerful if you're trying to write anything like serious. I honestly really enjoyed JavaScript for similar reasons from a scripting like high level web point of view when I was messing with that. C Sharp is probably somewhere I'd meet in the middle. I think C Sharp is my favorite big team language that I've experienced so far. But obviously, I didn't do anything OOP like in C Sharp because I'm not a very big OOP person. Like I'm not a big OOP guy, so probably I wouldn't like C Sharp because it's too OOPy. But that's I know that as time has gone on, both Java and C Sharp have gotten less OOPy, as I would say at least people have moved away from inheritance, representing implementation details and such. So that's good. But yeah, let's get this get uploaded. Commit day 05. And we're gonna push that. Excellent. Okay. And that is the Go solution done. Gonna exit the shell. And that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 6. See ya.